Welcome to the MBD podcast, the show where we dig in at what's actually working or not when it comes to scaling businesses with the people who've been there. And today's guest has definitely been there. So please take it away, and why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate you having me here today. My name is Jorge Sepulveda, and as you can see by the gray hair, I've been in business and in technology for well over 30 years. So I think I've seen it all. Very excited about the evolution that's going on right now. I'm sure everybody's talking about it. It's saturated over every headline about AI. I think the most important thing to remember, it's an evolution, not a revolution. And based on my career, helping companies embrace technologies and optimize their marketing, everything from hardware, software, infrastructure, security, really, I've seen it all. And love to share how I see this evolution impacting us and why it's imperative for every business to embrace AI because of the fact that I think most business leaders want to be the next Netflix, not the next Blockbuster.
Right. No, and so as businesses are trying to grow, they're trying to scale, they're trying to understand what's going on. What should they be looking for? Like, what advice would you give them? How would you consult them?
Well, I mean, I always like to follow and pay attention to folks that are wiser than myself. So let me kind of quote or ad lib Jamie Dimon and Ginny Rometty. So Jamie Dimon with J.P. Morgan Chase, as you might know, that organization has embraced AI a long time ago, and it's not part even of the technology structure or team. There, he has business leaders reporting directly to him because AI is part of every department within JP Morgan Chase. Um, and then Ginny Rometty with IBM has made it clear, and I think everybody needs to not be afraid about being replaced by AI, but humans that don't adopt AI will be replaced by those that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's happening fast, and it's going to happen
Yep,
faster as things get more efficient, as these
absolutely.
tools become more robust, as it gets more data to function, right? And with
Absolutely.
that, so when you're helping businesses scale, what should they be looking at? How should they be taking this on?
I mean, obviously, the growth areas are the ones that are getting the most attention and funding. Sales and marketing is really important. At Express Analytics, we help our clients fuel their growth engine with jet fuel and accelerate their AI journey wherever they might be. So I think the first and foremost, I put together these bullet points of kind of how I help businesses, how we help businesses embrace how to grow in this environment, in this world that's being driven by AI, and not get left behind. It really does start with establishing a robust data foundation. I think that if you look at the leaders that are driving the pioneers in this space, it's all about the data, and it just
Yeah,
continues to be about the data. I know a long time ago somebody said that data's in the oil. Well, successfully implementing AI and really optimizing everything you're doing within your organization, especially your growth engine, it's going to rely on quality data and bringing everything together and getting away from the data silos. So that's the most important part. Start with laying down the data foundation. I met with 70 CMOs in April, and a lot of them said their data was not ready or they didn't know if it was ready for AI. So that's very telling that that foundational piece needs to be laid down before you start building advanced analytics, enterprise reporting, and of course AI.
that's always been an issue everywhere I've been to is clean
Yeah,
data that you could marry so that way you can get results from, right? And you're not putting the wrong
yeah,
pieces together. All the way back to when I was at Disney using MicroStrategy and business objects and trying to piece those together using, now we don't have to do this, use a team to get answers. Like, hey, I need this question
sure.
answered. What's this data set based on these demographics and variables? And it may take up to a week to get that information because they have to run SQL and pull
Yeah,
data together. Now, like,
exactly.
just get your tables right, just get you clean data, like it, and it's easy to do. So this is, I mean, it's so smart. it's such a low hanging fruit thing to do to be able to get actionable information out of these tools now.
That's it's critical. I think that startups have the blessing that they can start from the get go with that solid data foundation and not ever get into this. But it's more important than ever. We got to stop paying lip service to let's break down the silos. You're either going to do it now or you're going to be left behind. Like I said,
Right.
do you want to be the next Netflix or the next Blockbuster? And if you don't lay that data foundation and get people working together across silos, you are going to be left behind because your competitors are doing it for sure. They are not. That brings me to my second bullet point.
Mm-hmm.
Your competitors are not relying on gut instinct anymore. They're prioritizing every decision based on data, and that's not just an Excel spreadsheet. You got to get much more predictive and prescriptive with the decisions you're making, and put that decision power right in the hands of your frontline workers, and that's going to be the key to success.
For sure. It's also one of the main reasons back in the day in 2010 that I named my company Marketing by Data, because we used data. At the time, formulating and understanding how to use data was much more difficult back in 2010 for your average business owner and CEOs than it is now, because now it's like, I could just go to this tool and it's going to give me information. I'll plug it in to
Yeah,
Shopify and, oh, look at
right.
that, I know my lifetime value now. Like pulling that
Yeah,
stuff was crazy back in the day, and now it's like this takes it to a whole nother level where you can ask it, be like, hey, what should I be looking for, and it's going to go, oh, you should be looking at this, I'm finding this. Like, it's
oh, absolutely. I mean,
awesome. Yeah.
and as no, your points are very very on point, Jason. Right on, you hit the nail on the head with those comments. I think that as business leaders, you want to find out who are those that are going to embrace AI. Like
Mm-hmm.
quoted we talked about earlier. Um, AI is not coming for your job, but humans that are using AI might replace you.
Yeah.
So, as business leaders, our responsibility is to help people have that opportunity to raise their hands, invest in them, invest in AI literacy, in developing their talents so that they can start contributing to the business and adding that jet fuel to your organization in every area of the business. I don't know any area of most businesses, especially in technology, where you can't leverage AI for something in your job. Something I'm doing with my organization is I am requiring everybody in the organization to provide some idea, to just throw ideas out that can make their job better, more efficient, make them more productive, whatever. And I'm having a contest every quarter. I'm going to give out a prize to the person with the best idea for that quarter, because we all have to be firing on 8 cylinders, heck, 12 cylinders now with AI.
Yeah.
It can't be 8 anymore.
That's
Um,
a great point, because there's so much that these tools can do that if they're not looking,
yes.
is going to be too late.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and especially for smaller organizations, small medium businesses, you can compete with the larger organizations that are not embracing this by multiplying your efforts and adding this jet fuel to everything you do.
Yeah. Agree. It's so much more efficient. Like the stuff that we're building out, that for sales teams, for marketing, for internal flows, for voice agents, for receptionists, like you can bypass major corporations with millions of dollars of budget. I could do voice agents that'll take over their whole customer service team.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't embraced cloud native data platforms to establish that data foundation, I mean, again, another area you're going to be left behind. We are now spoiled for choice. So before, companies had the luxury of, well, let me think through this cloud thing and let me see how to get there. We're too regulated. We're spoiled for choice now. We're talking about
Mm-hmm.
Google, Microsoft, Amazon, IBM, Databricks, Snowflake. We are spoiled for choice, and we need to just embrace that cloud native data platform to have that data foundation that can be very flexible and agile to be used in every part of the organization. And of course, break down the silos once and for all to really leverage AI in every part of your business.
Do you have a favorite cloud platform?
No, I mean, I think from our perspective, since Express Analytics provides bespoke services and AI
Yeah.
solutions, we're going to embrace whatever the client has used. If they don't happen to have any, I might question if I want to do business with them. But let's say a startup, we might lead with Amazon because we already have everything set up on
Yeah.
Amazon. But honestly, we'll deploy on anything that the client wants.
Awesome. Awesome. And then now you have these clients. Like,
Yeah.
what? How you helping them develop their strategy?
So that's the key. That goes to the next point. So the key is develop an AI strategy. Let's stop pretending that this is revolutionary. This is just an evolution. AI is just an evolution of many data science models and disciplines that have been around for decades. The compute and the databases, the cloud data warehouses, and being able to make the decision on massive amounts of data in an instant, as opposed to in the old days you had to develop a model, run it for days. Sometimes, if the data set was too big, now you can go through terabytes, or if you have enough power, petabytes of data, and make decisions instantly. So that means you have to tie back to the strategy. Don't. There's no sense in doing anything AI if it's not tied back to a specific business strategy that it aligns to and the ROI that you expect from it.
Yeah.
This is an
No,
evolution, and just like any technology decision, you want to make sure that it's based on ROI, not science projects.
there's a lot that you can get into of doing stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah,
fun to do, and you see the thing
yeah,
that I found. One, it's fun to do because you're building out this stuff. So, if, like for me, it's like puzzles and Legos.
yeah.
Two,
Oh,
the cost effectiveness of it. I don't have to buy a subscription to a $500 a month product. I can go
right.
set something up, and I'm paying for what's being used. So
Oh,
some platforms have like a $20 a month fee, but it's like we've all got access now.
oh, absolutely. So, I mean, you really touched on it. There's no excuse for each individual. You're right. We don't have to do science projects to implement, but every single person can ideate by themselves or do ideation with their team and basically develop an entire application and hand the code over to those that can implement it and actually refine it. But there's nothing you can't like brainstorm and put together an idea of an application, a solution, something to automate. And now we're getting into agentic AI, where now you can string together various AI agents. And that's something you and I can do on our own desktop to kind of play around and bring an idea that we have in mind to our management to see if it's something that can benefit the business to deploy. So that's going to be, again, something that each person has to embrace, or else they will be replaced by those that are
I
using.
know.
And then businesses, you want to be the next Netflix or the next Blockbuster. Sorry
Yeah.
for belaboring that point.
No, but it makes sense. Like you can have people on each team doing
Yeah.
testing actual full replaceable solutions, like in small scale that is easy just to dial up. Like it's pretty
Great.
exciting.
This is very exciting. And of course, this brings a lot of responsibility. The GRC team has to be more, governance, risk, and compliance has to be active across the board. You definitely got to focus on being ethical and responsible with these innovations, because you can focus on so much massive amounts of data. There's things with respect to facial recognition or facial validation. There's different things that you need to decide what makes the most sense and make sure that you're focused on deploying things that are ethical, especially depending on very highly compliant, financial services, healthcare, etc. But it can be done, and certainly the GRC specialists that are embracing AI are going to help you really be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah, and you got the that portion of it that needs to be taken into account because that can be pretty significant, in a number of different ways.
Oh yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah, so the next thing is foster cross-functional collaboration. So,
mhm.
as we talked about earlier, the silos have to be broken down once and for all. We can't continue to play lip service to that. And in order to be successful as a business with AI doesn't touch just one silo. When you start implementing something that's going to help the entire business or automate a whole business processes don't respect silos. What happens is we have workarounds, and people do things in their own little silo, and it makes the process inefficient. Now, as business leaders, we have to foster that cross-functional collaboration. Put people in the room that are not used to working together, and make them come out with ideas that are going to help the business that is going across the business process, and that's going to really add fuel to your AI engine, to your business engine.
Yeah, yeah. It really is. It's amazing.
Yep.
Um,
So, data science. I mean, if you don't have any data scientists, hey, Express Analytics will be glad to help. But I mean, you got to start looking at advanced analytics and predictive modeling. In your growth engine for marketing, you have to do that. You have to start doing MMM, MTA, multi-touch attribution, marketing mix modeling, and a variety of other models that companies like us, Express Analytics, can help you adopt and customize for your business. But really, you got to be doing that. You're going to be left behind if you just focused on descriptive reporting and descriptive analytics that are just telling you what happened. You have to
yeah.
predict the future because the tools are there now, and it's going to help you give. It's going to give you that competitive edge.
Could you I understand what you say about the predictive analytics and looking at dashboards versus looking at actual items. Do you have an example of something set up such as predictive analytics that someone who's got a business that is trying to scale in leveraging that so that way they can get to the next hilltop?
Absolutely. So I've worked with in the financial services space. I think there's again because of the example of JP Morgan Chase, adoption's probably uh, faster than in other industries. So in a CRM type of situation where a financial services organization is selling investment products, investment vehicles, uh, they might develop models to help the salespeople show propensity to buy a certain investment vehicle, but how are they going to put it in the hands of the users? So that's an example where I helped an organization embrace the models that they developed for propensity purchase, for propensity to churn, et cetera, and took it out of the data silo. So they had salespeople having to go to a dashboard that was outside of their normal daily workflow
Uh,
to go see what customer they should be pitching, what customer they should be working with, who they should be calling today. And frankly, the user adoption was horrible. They did not like to go to a different system. They didn't trust the data because it was only updated weekly. There was a variety of issues that just made that gap too big. And then when they were using it, if they have feedback on that on the models that they were using, they email it to the data science team. Sometimes nothing happened with it. There's a huge gap there. So we do that for clients. We help this client take that model, implement it directly into their CRM very quickly using tools and solutions that we provide. And within days, not weeks or months, they had that model wired right to the CRM. So salespeople all of a sudden in Salesforce, like, what is this new widget that we don't have to go to the dashboard anymore? The insights were right there. They could go at the beginning of their day and look at, oh, these are the customers that have propensity to buy these vehicles right now. And sales went up 50% very quickly. So
oh, I
that's a,
bet they're not.
that's,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
not wasting time because I've been a part
exactly.
of that. In marketing, I got 15 different tools open or platforms because I'm going to do this here, there, there. Having one place just to be, especially as
Oh,
a
yeah.
salesperson, to keep them focused and not bouncing around, and
Huge.
getting off track, like it's huge. That's huge.
It's huge. And then the feedback. We automated the feedback loop so that when the user felt like the model should be improved or it wasn't quite on the money, that feedback could instantly is automatically goes back to the data science team so the model can be refined and optimized. So that's a huge game changer for them. Did the
Big
same
time.
thing for an insurance for a large insurance company. So this is something that every business can embrace, but those especially that have already been investing in AI and data science and they've created models that they're struggling getting into production, these are the
It's going to take
disciplines, the
off.
approaches that they need to look into. And hey, feel free to work with Express Analytics on those things.
Nice.
Sorry for
No, I,
the shameful pitch.
no, all good. No, I've worked with inside insurance companies and consulted for them. I was also a licensed agent years ago when I was trying to sell
Oh,
financial products, and I know what that process is like. And being able to have tools that can essentially lead you down the path to success, it stops you from wasting time. It stops you from when
yeah.
you're hunting for information, like the data enrichment that it can provide, to where you could easily get snippets and people don't realize you can get a summary. Like I'm sure your tool can provide a summary of this person based on what the data enrichment did to pull in their profiles from different places, so you have connection points before you even start the call. Like it reminds me when I would go on to people's homes to try
Ooh,
and sell loans, my sales trainer was like, look on the wall to find something you can connect with them, and then start a little conversation on that. Right?
right.
You don't even have to look anymore. It tells you like, hey,
Exactly. I
it's
mean, every
awesome.
part of the business. Obviously, sales and marketing is gonna increase your revenue and help with your retention. But every part of the business, if you could start your day and have some insight into what you should do, how you should optimize the business that day based on the elements that are going into that model, because obviously business and it changes every day, right? The economic
Yeah.
environment changes every day, et cetera.
Yep.
If those data points are going into the model, it's properly developed, you're going to know what to do every day, especially sales and marketing.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great.
And then automation and optimizing operations. So there's so many opportunities that's people call it the low hanging fruit. I don't necessarily believe in low hanging fruit. Find those things that repetitively happen in your organization that you can optimize and make people happier. So the tedious things that have to happen, but people just don't like to do, they rather focus on the more interesting aspects of their job. Go ahead and optimize and automate that thing. There's things, we talked about the data foundation. Once you have that established, there's data movements and data cleaning and different things that you can automate with AI so that a data scientist could get right to the modeling. I know for a fact data scientists hate spending 80% on data wrangling and only 20% of their time on the actual modeling. And you can start moving away from that by introducing automation in various steps in that data engineering and
Oh,
data management process. That's
yeah.
just
The
one
days,
example.
man. The time I've spent marrying data between spreadsheets. You
I
know.
can imagine. Oh yeah, I've done it. I mean, remember the days where you got a spreadsheet, if you're lucky, from an event with prospects and like, who on earth, which ones are the ones I need to go after? I can't
Man.
go after all of them. I don't have time.
Yeah, or trying just to copy paste from a document into Excel, and then it formats it
Yeah,
weird, and then you do it again, and it gives you wingdings, and you're like, why can't
you're
this
aging
just
us
work?
both that we know what wingdings are. That's awesome. And I mean, and finally, we'd already touched that on a little bit, but cultivate that culture of experimentation and continuous learning. So provide incentives. Like I thought, hey, provide a prize every quarter for the best idea so that people are thinking, experimenting on their desktop because the tools are there. You in a controlled environment, you can experiment, you can continuously learn about the AI because even the learning process is facilitated with many of these tools. But as business leaders, we need to foment that and make sure our every employee has the opportunity to embrace AI so they don't have to be afraid of it and they can embrace and do really cool things. I have yet to see a person that didn't really know AI, doesn't work with it. Heck, my fiance started playing with it and it's like she's hooked on it. I mean, everybody that I work with, my employees, might be reticent, but once they dive in, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool! That makes my job so much easier." There's not a person that said, "No, this is not for me."
I tried with my wife, who's a fashion designer. I developed my own line in AI. I sent it to, and she goes, "Oh, this is okay, but it's not there. Like this something something." And I'm like, "You're missing the point. You're missing the point of what I'm doing. You take this and you run with it. You develop it. Like I did this in
You finish
5 minutes.
it,
What takes you guys with the whole team to do in like a month? Like I just did this. Like look, it's got different layers and patterns for printing and like all this stuff." And it didn't click. I was like, man, like
yeah,
it's
it's
right
so
here.
funny.
It
My
makes
fiance was like, "No, yeah, that's your world, whatever." I think she
no,
tried
it's
it
not.
twice, and now she calls it. She goes, "That's my little assistant. That's my assistant." I'm pretty sure she uses it every day for a variety of
Yes,
things.
they should be. Yeah. It makes me want to open up businesses where people say that, be like, look, see what I did by
Yeah,
myself.
exactly,
Um,
exactly.
no,
Hey,
awesome.
that's a whole other consulting realm for folks. Go help small medium businesses embrace AI and
Yeah.
change the game. Make help them compete with larger companies. What could be better? SMBs, is the bedrock of our whole country. There's so many
Yeah.
small medium businesses. And the ones that start embracing AI can be much more efficient and enjoy their job, right? So again, do you want to be the next Netflix or the next Blockbuster? And Express Analytics would be glad to help. But I hope some of these points help some folks, and
Yeah.
really hope for the best for everybody. Many blessings to the audience, and look forward to our next episode, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. And where can people connect with you or learn more about what you're doing?
Sure. Please come to expressanalytics.com or just email me, Jorge, Jorge, at expressanalytics.com, or look me up on LinkedIn, Jorge Sepulveda, Sepulveda. Look forward to talking to anybody that's just more curious or wants to talk about how to embrace AI in their organization.
Awesome. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks, Jason. I really appreciate the opportunity. Look forward to our next podcast. Take care.